Welcome to 108 Gate, where we're looking at today's readings, energies, whenever it is that you're coming to this reading. So, how are you doing? Hope you are well. Taking a deep, nourishing breath in and out. Settling into the moment and bringing in some stillness. There's a definite vibe of having to calm down, having to be present, and if you are already calm, appreciating your ability to be calm, appreciating that you're able to get to calm. There's quite a lot of frantic energies around, so we can choose to be either swept up in it or to center ourselves and be the epicenter of our calm, be the epicenter of our peace and harmony within. The energies of the stuff that's going on around, it's like when you see those films or a part of the film when someone's standing still and in the background they have everything going at super fast speed. It's kind of that vibe of like you're there, you're watching, and you're kind of wondering like, what actually are you trying to achieve? What actually are you trying to do? Why are you doing it that way? But it's not more of a actual question. It's more of a rhetorical question of like, this it's just madness. And just watching people in the different versions of madness. There may be the few occasional connections with people that are also calm and just kind of a tip of the hat, nod of the head kind of thing. But on the whole, there seems to be a lot of kerfuffle around yourself, around self, around the area in which you're in. I'm feeling my volume wants to go down, my tone wants to be monotone, my voice is really pushing to be a certain calmness, almost caramel bunny like. If those of you who know who Caramel Bunny is, sorry, just not the... So we've got this, it's blowing a trumpet, blowing some message, but the ones who are hearing the message, the ones who are receiving the message are the animals. So that's interesting. It's kind of the vibe I just mentioned earlier of like they're already in their calm and staying still, and so able to observe the blowing of the horn, the kind of like the message being sent out. I'm calm, I'm peaceful, you get on with what you need to do, I'll do what I've got to do, and letting things kind of flow. It's a very, very fractured energy. And what I mean by fractured, let me just get the cards. Excuse me. It's fractured as in like there may be questions coming up around, in the past you may have reacted in one particular way. So for example, if you saw that there was this much chaos before and you could see an opportunity of where you could help, you may have jumped in the past to help out. You may have jumped in and said, how about you do it this way, and start directing something or helping something, and before you know it, you're actually doing it for them. And then again, you go in that cycle of some may be resentful. Why have I done that? Why have I done that again? Some may be resentful towards self. Some may be resentful to others. Like, why don't they just get their shit together? Sorry for saying that, but why don't they just get their stuff together and just be able to do it? Like, haven't you learnt from the first time, the second time I helped you, and then not acknowledging that, well, hang on a second, if you're always there to help, you're always there to assist, are you actually providing that person to learn how to do something in an independent manner? So this is going to be invaluable, because if you can stop Okay, if you can start stopping doing this, you're going to have the 10 of coins coming in, because your value is going to be increased. If you do it, as in like helping, when you're not asked, you just see and you're like, oh, I don't want to see that person struggling, or I can see a better way of doing that. Let me just do this for you. Before you know it, like I've just said, you end up doing the whole thing. If you start pulling back from those situations when you have been taken for granted, or you have been just doing something, and not that you have to expect anything in return, but then you kind of feel like, well, now I've just put myself behind in my thing that I was doing. So all of that, you can stop that from happening now. And if you stop that from happening now, your value of yourself will increase, because one, you're going to be getting your own stuff done. Two, your services, your help, your support isn't going to be taken for granted. So the other side, if they are able to see your support, they will be better able to value your support. If it's just not a given, it's just not an assumption that, oh, well, so-and-so will be there to help anyway. This is a real rich configuration astrologically for this to be supported. So I'm not kind of surprised that this is actually here. I'd say, there you go, victory. You want to increase your value, you want to increase your worth where you can, where it's easy to do. The way to do that is not to do certain things, is to not do certain things. So we've got that on its head. We've got it back to front, thinking that we are more helpful and more useful when we do this and do that and do this and do that. It's gone to the point of it being taken for granted. It's got to the point of self-resentment, resentment of others for not appreciating on some level. Even if it's not conscious, there's some subconscious resentment there. You can do some energy work around that. There is definitely a video in the dailies further up around resentment, and that's, you might want to check that video out. If you do check it out and see it, if I haven't already, because I sometimes forget to do these things, sorry. If you do come across it, you could put the link of that video in the box below here, just so that there's that system created again. We did this before on the last channel. Would love to do it again now, just because we got this resource building up. Why not utilize it? Why not utilize it? Tower. Let it go. Let the things that you don't need fall. Just let them just let them be. Let them be gone. Let them do what they've got to do by themselves. Just hands off for a while. That's easy to say. I don't know, for some of you, you're so giving and so generous and so kind. There is a point where there's a line of you're over giving, over generous, over kind, and you're being detrimental to yourself. So it's finding that fine line. It's finding that boundary and stipulating your boundaries clearly. Right, here we go. 7 of Wands. There's going to be a bit of kerfuffle around this. You finding your value, finding your higher worth, finding your actual full value, as opposed to just putting up with what others perceive you as valued at or valued as. It's going to take a bit of work. I think most of it is going to be right. I'd listen to this carefully if any of this is resonating. A lot of it is when we put that thing on others of, it's going to be a humility required here. They need us, and I've been doing it, so now part of it is being scared of, if I take my help away and take my support away, will they just collapse on the floor? So it's not about self-importance. It's not about inflating of self-worth. In some way, it is in an incorrect way. It's more to do with that kindness and generosity has gone to a toxic space. It's gone to a self-depreciating space. So getting a grip and getting a realistic perspective of, if I stop helping them now, they're not going to fall and collapse on the floor. Some of them might have a tantrum. Some of them might have a whatever shouting, you helped me before, you don't do it now, you're never helping me when I actually need you, and blah 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 blah, all those hurtful things. Get your shield up, get your barricade up, get your strength up, get your courage up, get your defences up. Stay still, stay calm. Now I'm seeing what this thing was happening at the beginning. There's going to be a lot going round and round. Your focus is to stay true to your feelings and devote yourself to your truth. Stay true to your feelings and stay devoted to your truth. The guilt has no space here. If people guilt trip you or emotionally blackmailing, manipulating, all of that, you need to, this is the time, if ever I saw one, this is a perfect configuration, a perfect time to build up your strength, build up your defense mechanism, not defense, not attack, defense. Build up your defense within yourself, as in have affirmations ready, like this is not my problem. They have to learn to do things themselves. They have to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. I can't keep helping them, and when I do help them, they don't actually appreciate the help. They take me for granted. I'm not letting people take me for granted. I am respected. So go through that process. If any of you know about EFT tapping, you go through that process. Now I'm just waiting for my my final results and qualification to come through for hypnotherapy. I'm hoping I've passed. We go through that process in that as well. So I'm not yet a qualified hypnotherapist. It's been a long 12 months, I can say that. But I am looking forward to hopefully passing. I don't know if I have yet because anyway, my point is, through that process we do that kind of thing of like, you have to acknowledge where you are first to be able to know where you're heading. You have to know where you are now in a realistic, truthful way. Otherwise you're going to be just leading yourself from a perspective of you don't actually acknowledge the truth. So how can you know where to lead yourself? Hope that made sense. You have to acknowledge where we are to be able to know where we should be going, where we want to be going, where we are heading. So those are going to be the emotional blackmail, the emotional turmoil, the torment, the past memories of being tormented. So to have another example coming up, to have an easier life, or to have a simpler life, or to have a quieter life, you just say okay, and you just agree and just do it anyway. I'm seeing toddlers, like with a toddler, you've got to be absolutely relentless and ruthless and just stick to your boundaries. Because if a toddler sees you just a tiny bit of slack, then you're done. You're done. Those of you who've had toddlers or no toddlers or whatever it is, you know, you're absolutely, you're at their peril, you're at their mercy for the rest of your life pretty much, unless you get those boundaries in and just stay firm. Apply that same principle to this now. There will be people that are still having their childhood wounds activated or whatever else, and we don't want to enable that. We don't want to be part of that. Therefore, us taking away a certain support, which then in turn is beneficial for them, because then they're either going to have to find another source to support them, therefore they're not ready to move on, or they will feel the need to start changing and actually make those changes for themselves, to start doing things for themselves. You essentially are brought again to true feelings and devotion to yourself. It's not your issue with what they do. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's your partner, if it's your child, if it's your pet, whoever it is. It doesn't matter who it is, how much you love them, how much you care about them. You can't keep carrying the enabling of that behaviour. You can't keep doing it to them or yourself, because you're depleting yourself of your own precious time and precious resources. So this came up a few readings ago and I kept seeing it as a 3, even though here it says 5, clearly says 5, but I just kept seeing it as a 3, so that's interesting that it's come up again. And straight away it's like, don't make the mistake of thinking things are done when they're not. Don't make the mistake of seeing things as not problematic when they are. Look at the problem. Don't start deluding self or being in denial of it. Accept there's a problem there. Deal with the problem. Then you know where you can move on from. If you keep enabling certain people to do certain things, they can't address their problems. They can't address who they are. So then under the 10 of coins, you've got the 10 of cups. That's great, because then from this conflict, mastering how others respond to you, your value is going to go up. Emotionally mastering when they're coming at you, how you're going to do this, how you're going to have those tussles and deal with it in a dignified manner, where they actually come out thinking, you know what, they will hurl mean words at you. The possibility of them hurling, and I'm saying hurling because it literally feels like there's like a barrage, a bombardment of unkind words. If anyone's going through it to this level now, I'm sure there's others of us that can say from experience, really put your boundaries up and don't look back once you do, because each step you take in alignment with your boundaries, with honouring yourself, with honouring your truth, with honouring your strength, it becomes easier and easier and easier, one step at a time in honouring yourself, one step at a time in honouring your truth. And then the further you get from this, the easier it becomes. The more they may cry, be ready for that. The more they may complain, the more they may start telling others about how bad a person you are and this, that and the other. Be ready for it, because in your heart, true feelings, devotion, seriously, genuinely devote yourself to your true feelings. I've said it before in reading, you need to know why you are doing something and stick to it. If you know that you're doing it with a good intention, you're doing it with an intention of not only freeing yourself from this, but also indirectly they will be free from this cycle too. It's all win-win. They can't see the win-win right now. You can. So it's on you to do this for yourself first, and then it's their choice if they choose to take this opportunity to better themselves. It's their choice on how to deal with it. If they want to throw a tantrum, let them throw a tantrum. That tantrum and speaking about people behind their back and stuff like that, that is what speaks volumes about why you are no longer in that situation, why you no longer will allow yourself to be used, on some level abused, and it be verbally, emotionally, physically, whatever it is. If you need help, please do make sure you reach out to wherever you are, local support for yourself or a trustworthy person. Get in contact with them, get in touch with them. We're all over the world, so do that from wherever you are. Take that step for yourself. Take that step to really see your true feelings. Are you just feeling scared and feeling vulnerable in some times or some places in some ways and not step forward? Or is this something that's coming up from the past of when you didn't feel strong and you didn't feel courageous, and now you can see the steps you've made forward from that time? I'm feeling like a shudder of where you've been, and acknowledging, how did I get through that? How did I get through that? The most important part being, you did. You've got the victory because you let go of the tower. The tower fell and you had a victory because you let the tower fall. Right, we're going to get a masculine energy for over here. This is quite a deep daily reading. Value again, your 3 of coins, reinvesting in yourself, reinvesting in your future, reinvesting in who you truly are. Look at this, 7 of coins, 7 and 3, you got the 10. It feels like it wants to combine. You've got to start seeing your assets. You've got to start bringing your assets together, your internal assets, your emotional assets, your skill set, your vision, your ability to do certain things that you may have been able to do in the past but you haven't been because it's been ground down. Bring it back to your forefront of your mind. Bring it back to your emotional well-being. Bring it back to strengthening your core self. reconnecting with your core self as your true essence, as your purest essence, connecting with your true feelings and devoting yourself to you. Fantastic reading. It's a deep dive. It's a bit of a, I could go on for ages with this one, to be honest. It's worth the work. It will be worthwhile you doing the work here. Hold your ground. Get your boundaries straight. Even if you have to, if a certain scenario comes up and you always end up giving up, start picturing it in your mind. This is, again, another certain techniques we've been learning. Like you put it, the scenario in your mind, and then you kind of have that conversation with the correct outcome that you need and you want for you. And then just still keep doing that until you feel more confident in being able to do it. It sounds silly, but I did this years and years ago in a very awkward situation. When it came to actually happening, it's like autopilot kicked in. I didn't have to think about what was said. I didn't have to think about what I was doing. It just literally, no, this isn't happening anymore, and walked away. Didn't, shaking like a leaf, but something else kicked in. Autopilot kicked in. Me sticking up for myself kicked in. I'm sure there's many people on this channel that are watching that have had certain situations, certain scenarios like that kicking in, and you're just like, whoa. And then after, it's like a massive adrenaline rush because you're realising what you've just done, and you thought you'd never be able to do it, but you did it. This is coming up again now. It's either coming up for you to do it, or it's coming up for you to remember that you've done it in the past, and now it's a chance for you to clear the residue of the lower energies of that. It's a chance for you to clear the fear from that, the torment from that, the turmoil from that, and for you to bring in the healing energies that you have been gathering up. Bring in the healing energies and the acknowledgement of where you were and where you've got to. This is a fantastic, empowering reading, and I'm hoping that every one of you who watches this right now gets something from it. Something, even if it's just one thought, because we need it. We need that support. We need to know that we've got it within ourselves to do what we need to do, not looking for it externally. It's in us, it's within us. Just sometimes we need to sit with a certain thing to remind us that we are capable, to remind us of what we were fighting for, what we were working for, what we were focusing on before we got lost. And then those of you who've gone through it, remembering we got through it, use that strength. Stand up tall. Feel that pride in yourself in a healthy way. Allow yourself to be proud of yourself for having got through some really weird situations. It's all for you. True feelings, devote yourself to yourself. And let it amplify, let it amplify, and let it amplify. Let it grow in a healthy, secure way. Nurturing yourself, inner, outer. Love this for you. Your November readings are up. There might be some other bonus readings coming too, because the astrological configurations are just way too gorgeous to let them just go by. So there may be some bonus readings as well. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Appreciate your support for the channel. With your support, it gives me momentum to move forward and things, because this takes time. It takes dedication to come here every day and do this, but you make it worthwhile. So I appreciate you for being here and doing this with me. For now, peace and love.